How's it going, wrestling fans and sports collectors? This is Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza. Welcome. This week we are going to be doing a mailbag video, probably my favorite type of video that I record on this channel. If you're new to CollectAWrestlePalooza, thank you for the support. Thank you for joining us today. I feature 3 basic types of videos on my channel. I do top 5s, which are the top 5 highest prices paid at eBay auction. I do those because I enjoy researching prices anyway. I think that they're neat historical artifacts, and to be honest, you guys appreciate and enjoy those videos the most, so that's why I keep pumping those out. I also do hobby tips and thoughts, which is just my thoughts as a mid-40s man getting back into collecting, trying to recapture some of the nostalgia from my childhood. And then I do these, which are the mailbag videos. I think it's important if you're a collector to always be buying. I did do a video with Zan Morning from Wrestling with Cards early in my career as a social media creator, and the tagline on that video was always be buying and selling, which I still try to do. I think that perpetuating the hobby and having stuff coming in, going out, never holding on to things for too long or getting too attached to what you own is really important as a collector. It's better to have something pass through and own it for 6 months than to never have owned it at all. But I also think the most important part of that is to always be buying. In order to be a collector, you always have to have stuff coming in. You've got to be looking at it. You've got to be examining it, seeing what things are selling for, interacting with other folks. Even if your own shop is not selling goods, you always want to be bringing stuff in. So that's why I love these mailbag videos, and also the pure joy of opening up a package is what keeps us going. That's why we love collecting, is we love getting those packages in the mail, opening them up, and seeing what's inside. I always forget what's inside of my packages, so I have 3 to open today. I don't remember at all what's inside. Can't wait to open them with you folks. Let's open them together.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
First one here feels like some sort of a slab. The inner packaging is also indicative of a slab. I like that. Cardboard with the painter's tape. Very protective, but very easy to open. Ah, yes. 1986 Monte Gum, the one-man gang, PSA 10. When I first started collecting wrestling cards again 2 or 3 years ago, these cards were kind of hot. People were talking about them on social media. They've cooled off quite a bit since then, but the Monte Gum cards are near and dear to my heart, mostly because they came out at the time when wrestling periodicals were big. You could go to the corner store, go to the supermarket, and see PWI with all of the monsters on the cover and all these exotic wrestlers you had never heard of, sometimes with color. And it was very exciting as a kid to see all those cool wrestlers that weren't necessarily on the WWF Superstars of Wrestling program every week. One Man Gang is a monster. He's a behemoth, one of the most amazing heels from the early days of the 1980s jump of professional wrestling into characters on the screen at home that everyone knew. So at this time in 1986, the One Man Gang would have been still a novelty and not as well seen on the TV screen. So that's why I love this card, as it reminds me of that time when this would be like a carnival barker, or again, something more exotic that you wouldn't see every day on your screen. One Man Gang, then this one is a PSA 10. So the Monte Gum cards look like that. They all feature somewhat unlicensed pictures of these exotic monsters and heels, and also the superstars and baby faces of the time. And the PSA 10s are hard to find. I own another 1 or 2 of the One Man Gangs. I think there might even be a population 3 or 4 of this in a Gem Mint 10, and I own a couple of them. So hoarding them maybe, but this one came up at auction and the price was very affordable, so I had to grab it. 1986 Monte Gum One Man Gang PSA 10. Card number 2, let's see what we got here. This looks like it might actually be a couple of slabs they put together in bubble wrap, both from the same seller. Yes, it is. Another 2 Gem Mint 10s. These are 1987 O-Pee-Chee Gem Mint 10 wrestling cards. Again, I could not let this go by. These were 2 figures. I think it was $50 or $60 each for the rarer Canadian O-Pee-Chee version of perhaps my favorite wrestling card line, which is the 1987 WWF wrestling cards. And these are not the most desirable ones. In other words, they're not the portrait cards per se. They're more of the in-ring action cards. This is the same wrestling card line that has the Stars and Stripes border for the portrait cards of Hulk Hogan and Honky Tonk Man and those types of wrestlers. Bret Hart is the one you really want from this line. But this is a Harley race. King Harley parades. Harley Race, one of the original tough guys of the sport, must be a Hall of Famer, and this is somewhat of a portrait card. He was the first guy to use the King of the Ring persona in his gimmick. Don Muraco was the first King of the Ring of the WWF from that tournament. Harley Race was the second, but Harley Race was the first one to use it as part of his gimmick, as I stated. So having this card as an O-Pee-Chee, again, Gem Mint 10s are almost unheard of. I don't know the pop count. If you do, please leave a comment, but I'm guessing it's a pop 1 or 2 of these cards. Harley Race, and then this is an early Demolition card, Out to Destroy. Look at this one. Again, the rarer O-Pee-Chee line from Canada. Very, very early Demolition card. Is this a rookie? If you know the answer to that, leave a comment. But finding this in a Gem Mint 10 is almost unheard of. So again, getting each of those cards for under $100 each. I jumped all over it. I think they were $50 or $60 each. Very, very happy to have them in my collection. It fits my PC. I love cards from the 80s and 90s, particularly mid to early 80s, and I love the 1987 Top/O-Pee-Chee. Anytime I can find those in a Gem Mint 10, I'm going to pick them up. And the last mailer here also feels like a slab. Let's see what's inside. This is a Gem Mint 10 Topps Living Set of the Ultimate Warrior. This is from 2021. Living WWE, card number 78. One of my favorite Ultimate Warrior cards, which is why I picked this up. I thought it looked good in the SGC slab because the fluorescent color of the card and the fluorescence of the Warrior really contrasted on the black border very, very nicely. I do own 1 or 2 of these in raw condition that I picked up for pennies on the dollar, and when I saw a 10 that was at auction that was very inexpensive, I thought it was time to pick this one up as well. I think it's a pretty common card. I don't think it's that rare. If you do know the rarity, please leave a comment and let us know. But any card in a Gem Mint form is one that is arguably worth holding on to into the future, unless it's just incredibly overproduced, which I don't think any wrestling cards really are, at least a novelty set like the Living set. But like I said, the main reason I picked this one up is this fits into the category of cards that are aesthetically pleasing. The best thing to collect are cards that have a good look, cards that you think are great to own and hold on to and look at. That's why we collect cards, right? And this is actually artwork of the Ultimate Warrior. It looks real. It looks like the character that's being depicted. It looks like a photograph, and it has that fluorescence. It captures the bridge between a fluorescent, kind of corny 1980s look and something that's more subtle and sophisticated, such as the Ultimate Warrior's character actually was. It kind of has both of those characters portrayed as a fine piece of art. So that's why I love this card. Very inexpensive, very reasonable. SGC 10 Gem Mint of the 2021 WWE Living Set Ultimate Warrior card. And that does it for this week. A few more cards to add to my collection. What are you folks buying? What's exciting you? Please leave some comments, and as always, thank you for the support. Happy collecting.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.